The auction we ran for the first flight, we were frankly overwhelmed with how many people participated in that auction. I think it is a case where, like the 747, this is something very new and something very exciting. And the customer feedback we're getting, the research that Airbus has themselves done, says that people see this as want to be on. So yes, it does give us an advantage. I think it tells the world that you want to fly the A380, you're flying Singapore Airlines.
And you know, Shukur, SIA's endorsement of this plane, despite all the problems that it's had, the bad publicity, has been a major boon. Let's face it. Your thoughts? Why do you think SIA, as an analyst, was able to jump in and really endorse this plane?
Well, first of all, I think they got a very, very good price for it. 19 aircraft altogether, and when news came out of Toulouse that there were going to be delays and all that, I'm sure SIA, with its experience, with its reputation as a very difficult customer, would have squeezed Airbus without any doubt. So they would, I would imagine, got this plane at next to nothing. Otherwise, you know, Airbus would not have been able to launch this project. It would not have gone. My personal belief, you know, the project would be doomed if SIA had walked away from it.
And as you look at live images coming out of Changi Airport there, the Super Jumbo taxiing itself into the runway, making itself right at home. Stephen, let's talk about the journey that it has been. Obviously, as a customer, let's face it, it's frustrating when you don't get the product you need and you still, you know, make your payment. Now, as you see this plane touch down, do you really think the A380 will change the way we fly?
It has to. I think I think we have to be somewhat philosophical about the delays on a day like today. But look, if we don't, as airlines, give manufacturers the room to develop the quantum leaps in technology in aircraft design and manufacturing, we're never going to see the sort of improvements that our customers are expecting of us in terms of environmental improvements, emissions reductions, more economic benefits flowing to operators. So just like the 787 is now going through delays, in a sense, a bit like what Airbus has gone through with the A380, as you push manufacturers to keep innovating and keep pushing the boundaries of technology, they're going to come up against challenges. And to a certain extent, we have to ride those challenges.
And you know, as an analyst, Jakor, the interesting thing with Airbus was that it was because of the wiring problems, which in itself represents a technological feat, engineering feat, because it's, what, 500 kilometers to wire the Super Jumbos, which is more than 5 times of a normal aircraft like the 747s or the 777 series. The interesting thing here is, does this represent what is happening to the aviation industry? Because you have so many subcontractors and contractors. What, the A380 is, what, 60%? Meanwhile, Dreamliner is even higher, 80%. Tell us about what this really represents as far as the making of the plane is concerned.
There's a lot of outsourcing taking place in Seattle, in Toulouse. As you rightly mentioned, there were a lot of difficulties between the French and the German in terms of integrating the computer-aided design and so on. And you're seeing the same problems crop up in Seattle because a lot of the fasteners and other equipment that Boeing needs for the 787 are being outsourced from Japan, from Italy, and various other places. And there's a shortage of commodities like aluminum. So that's why you're seeing the delay in the Dreamliner. But yes, you know, it does show you that the complexity of building an aircraft of this nature, you know, you're talking about composite, you're talking about very sophisticated software in the cockpit and the rest of the plane to make it fly. So, you know, you will see the future of aircraft being very, very advanced. You will see technological feats. Say about the A330 is they actually brought together the French and the Germans to work together as a team, which was the problem in previous years.
But you know, on the other hand, you can also talk about technological feats versus commercial success. The Dreamliner has more than 800 orders in, but the A380 only has 189. So how do you explain that?
They're very different aircraft, though. I mean, the Dreamliner is going to serve a demographic that needs that number of aircraft and probably a whole lot more in the next 20 years. That is the mainstay of the aviation market. The A380, like the 747, is really for the very high capacity, high demand routes. Most airlines in the world, probably 5% of airlines in the world, will have a need for an A380 or similar type of aircraft. Most will be going after the A320, A330, 787, A350 size of the market. The 380 is going to be very much geared at long-haul, high-capacity travel. You know, the Tiger Airways at the moment, the AirAsia at the moment, they're not even looking at this aircraft.
Why do you think, Shukor, why do you think the Dreamliner is so hugely successful? What is it about it?
Well, first of all, it's a state-of-the-art aircraft. I think it's the first aircraft that's going to be truly built from scratch with new technology, composites, and other material that were not used in other
Okay, sorry to
aircraft
cut you
before.
off there, but it looks like the water cannons that Dominic Lowe has been mentioning is happening as we speak. We are looking at live pictures coming out of Changi Airport. And our reporter Dominic Lowe is standing by. Dom, tell us what you're seeing.
Well, hi there, Chloe. Yes, the A380 has landed in Singapore, and when it touched down exactly at 6:40, we could hear loud cheers coming from the holding area, from people waiting anxiously to see the A380. They were all pressed against the glass windows to get a sneak peek into what the site is like, and we just saw water cannons firing from the rescue fire engines at the A380 doing their water cannon salute. And it's approaching us even as I speak. And if I can just try and look, well, it's taxiing very slowly towards its final arrival gate. There's a lot of music coming from the holding gate, and when it arrives and it parks, the A380 parks, we'll get down to the official program, and we'll get to hear a couple of speeches, and then of course the VIPs will go into the A380 and tour the cabin.
Okay, well, Dominic, many thanks for that update, and we'll check in with you in just a bit. Well, as we watch these really festive pictures out of Changi, tell us, what is the next step for SIA, you know, a premier class carrier, no question about it. How do you intend to promote your product to passengers as, you know, business travel really takes off steam, you know, pleasure travel, whatever you call it? So what are your passengers as, you know, business travel really takes off steam, you know, pleasure travel, whatever you call it? So what are your plans as far as to how you want to market this product?
I think there's a whole marketing campaign that gets built around not just the A380, but the new cabin products on board the aircraft. I mean, let's face it, anyone can go and buy an A380 if you've got enough money, but not anyone can replicate the Singapore Airlines model or the experience on board, and that's what we have to take out to consumers.
And you know, I have to say, as somebody who ends up in the coach more often than not, I was surprised to find in your website that your economy class seats are not necessarily higher than other seats. And yet, I have gone on the test flights of the A380, and I felt that the coach seats were pretty nice. Why aren't you charging more? I
think what you'll find on the A380 is because of the significant size of the interior of the cabin, there is certainly a feeling of much more spaciousness, and that adds to people's perception that this is a more comfortable aircraft, and I think that's part of the reason why people are going to want to fly on it.
All right, it looks like we are having some speeches coming in from the event at Changi. Let's head over and listen in.
To an aviation event that will be marked in celebration of the arrival of the first A380 is one of the proudest and the most anticipated moments for Singapore Airlines. We are very honored that our It's been a long time coming, but as we've approached today, the true sense of excitement